Assalamu alaikum, peace and blessings. Welcome to Modest Beauty Podcast. I'm your host, Khalida the Model, and today's special guest is Saniyyah Bilal, who is a runway and print model. She has modeled for Faatimah Gamble's annual fashion show. She has modeled in Brooklyn Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week. She was also published in the international magazine Gaya Magazine. Saniyyah was also featured in Allure. She has worked with Verona Collection and Natasha, Denona, LLC. She's also a skincare ambassador for Ambi, and I can't wait to talk about that. I can't wait. And Saniyyah is also a contestant on Fashion Hero TV show. She is represented by UMMA Models, who I believe are out of London.
Yes.
And BiCoastal Management, and they are in New York and LA. Am I right?
Yes, and Hong Kong actually too.
And Hong Kong. Whoa,
yes.
They're international.
Yes, they're international.
Welcome, Saniyyah Bilal. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I'm so excited.
Open up. First, I want to say Bismillah, but
Bismillah.
I want you to open up with your motto and your what is it? Your motto and your, is it dare? I think you know your motto, right?
Oh, motto. I thought you were saying motto.
No, I'm sorry. Motto. Your
yes.
name, your brand.
My daily career motto is dare to be unique and own it. Okay.
That's right. Hey, dare to be unique and own it. So yes. I want to say that because I decided today I never wear jewelry, especially not on my head. So this morning, I decided I'm going to put something on my head because I've seen a number of people do it. And when I saw your motto, I said, you know what? Dare to be unique and own it. So I'm owning it.
Beautiful. Yes, I see it. It's very unique. You are owning it. I love it. I love the scarf style, everything.
And look at you. Beautiful. I love your scarf. Is that one of your creations?
This is actually from a new modest brand called Remy.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yes. She just launched her collection a few weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, almost very new. And I had to support the sister, Black Muslim woman owned brand.
Okay, I'm glad you said that and made it known because I did not know that. I didn't think she was, but now you're telling me. I'm on it.
Yeah, because I actually had talked to her before. I wanted her to work with us. So I had talked to her, and I was following her since then, and she has a lot of nice pieces.
Good.
Yes, from her collection. I love it. It's soft. I love
Beautiful.
The color. The print.
I was gonna say I love the print and the color. I'm into fuchsias and pinks, and I see those colors. They're just, I'm sorry, our listeners can't see them, but hop on to Khalida the Model on YouTube, and you will be able to see what Saniyyah has blessed us with.
That's it. And your dare to be unique jewelry and accessorized
mashallah. And I love your picture in the background. I love the ladies in hijab. It's a beautiful painting. I'm sure whoever made that, we can also add her and tag her, inshallah, or him, whoever it may be. But it's beautiful, alhamdulillah.
Absolutely.
So I do want to jump right in, and I probably have like 2 questions that are going to probably be thrown at you because they kind of relate to each other. When did you get into modeling, and did you think you would be doing this professionally?
So thanks for the question. I started modeling when I was 12 years old, and I'm from Philadelphia originally, and there is a huge population of Black Muslims, specifically Black Muslim women, and modest fashion was always a huge deal for us. So when I started modeling for a Masjid annual fundraiser fashion show. And I went to a casting, and I hadn't had any experience in modeling specifically, but I always did things in fashion at home. And I did a casting, and I got casted for the show. And from there, I really just grew to love modeling. I made connections with a lot of designers who are pioneers in Philly. I met other models, and I started to really grow. And I traveled locally with them, like to New York and Jersey doing shows for their brands on smaller showcases. And it was a passion in me to pursue it professionally, but at the time there wasn't a professional space for a huge space for Black models, for one, at the time, especially Muslim models who covered at the time. So I just did not want to combat all of that. I didn't want to sacrifice who I was, my identity, to pursue it. So I didn't think I could pursue it professionally at that time. So I didn't. I kept it as a hobby. I still did the show every year and a few shows with the designers throughout the year, but nothing as I could say was a career. And yeah, I pursued fashion. I went to school for fashion styling, merchandising, had a very successful career in that, alhamdulillah. And then about 3 years ago, around the whole Halima Aden era, I started to see modest fashion really become started getting more notice in the American fashion market. And I said, this is my time to really start modeling again professionally and put myself out there. And then that's kind of just how it just spun off from there.
And it's become funny because your story and my story, and we just recently found this out, that our stories kind of are very similar. Same thing. Back in the day, there were no representations of us. People were saying that we weren't going to be able to model. We couldn't really model. We would only do it for fashion, for local fashion shows or the mosques, that had them. But at the same time, it's so funny because my sister and I, we were it wasn't here in America. It was in, I believe, Canada. And we came in our garb and they heard us speaking and obviously knew we had American accent. They said, you're American. We were like, yeah. And they were like, oh, and you're Muslim. We know where you're from. I said, where? They said Philadelphia. Yes, they did.
No,
they said Philadelphia.
Is that obvious?
No, because you know why? Philadelphia has the mark, like you said, of Muslim, the fashion, you see Muslims all day long in Philly and up and down the street, and they are representing the Islamic.
Wow.
So it was so funny.
Right.
And we just left it. We were like, okay, we left it at that. But
you're from
New Jersey.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're from New Jersey. We're not too far from each other. We're not too far from each other. And it is so funny too, because you and I actually got to know each other. Well, we were doing fashion shows before, but we got to know each other. Remember that documentary?
Yes.
That's when we really got to, because they put us up in the room and we were there.
Because like you said, we did know each other before that. We were familiar with each other because we were working on different modest fashion shows together. And when we saw each other at that filming, we recognized each other. I'm like, oh, nice to see you in a while. How's it going? How's your family? Whatever. And then, like you said, we really connected and went off from there and started to continue to work together and build on that friendship and relationship from there.
So let me ask you this. What challenges have you faced when modeling?
Ooh, okay. That's a good question, a very loaded question. Honestly, it's just the people, people not being accepting of me being a Black Muslim woman, just dealing with negative comments, sit to my face, dealing with not getting jobs because of how I look. And
you're double whammied. You're double whammied. So let me just put that down.
Listen,
we got the brown skin and we got the hijab on.
Let's speak on it. And I even add the female part into it as well, because they're that's people also have issue just with women and Black women, and like you said, the Muslim part on top of it. So I'm very aware that I walk with that every day, but it empowers me to continue to push forward with my mission of what I'm doing as a model. But it is also difficult to deal with people in the industry such as fashion, where everything is usually accepted, and to get such conflict just because of how I look. People not knowing me, with not ever interacting with me, and just already having that judgment against me because of how I look. It definitely takes you aback. It can be very emotional sometimes.
Yep.
It can be very saddening a lot of the times because of that. It's like, I just want to model. I just want to enjoy, the craft, the gift that I've been blessed with. And, it's very unnecessary for people to come to, the industry with that type of mindset. But it is a very, very big challenge.
It's funny how you said being in fashion, how we are stigmatized. This is fashion. Fashion is for everybody. It's not one type of people. It's not one type of look. That's what fashion is. Why it's so powerful. And somebody made a comment too. If you don't have any clothes on, that's not called fashion.
Hello.
You know what I'm saying? That's not called fashion.
And also, historically, Black fashion, it's a huge influence on the industry. And you see little bits of our culture and our history in designers' pieces.
I'm glad you're saying this. I'm glad you're saying this. I got somebody on my next modest podcast. That's the next one coming up. We're talking about
perfect. Perfect. Yeah, you see it. So it's almost like you don't like how we look. You don't necessarily want us to represent who we are, but you want to steal what we have to offer, what we have created, but you don't want us to represent it on our own. It's such a weird juxtaposition that the industry presents itself. And I'm just like, I see our culture all over. I'm just in the flesh. I'm just representing that now,
and that's why I wanted you on and a model that's in the industry. We do have models, alhamdulillah, that are on the sidelines and doing stuff, but you are in the industry, like literally in the industry, in the mix. So you know what's going on. You have the idea, the backstage part, the front stage, before we even get there, all of the rejections. And that's one of my questions. I'm going to skip to that one because I'm going to get to the other one, but I'm going to skip to that one. I have right here. Have you had any experiences with criticism professionally and non-professionally? And how did you handle that? Or how do you handle it?
Yes. So to go into some of the examples I gave on the last answer, I was speaking to an agent trying to get representation, and the gentleman told me that I should not pursue modeling because I'm Muslim and I'm never going to be successful at all as a model. That's just another example. I was preparing for a fashion show, and we were all in a group chat, all the models and all designers and organizers of the fashion show. And each designer were sending their pictures of the model they wanted to use. And a designer sent my picture, and the organizer of the show, a Black woman, she proceeds to comment in the public chat with everyone can see that, oh, this model, his scarf is going to be a problem. We're not sure if we can accommodate her in the fashion show.
No, they don't. Not sure we can accommodate. They don't want to accommodate.
They don't want to accommodate. When did someone's religious dress would be a problem?
No.
And that isn't the way you address something. If you are confused about what I represent, how I dress, or what my limitations are, that's understandable. This is going to always be a teachable moment. I have no problem having a conversation.
But on the side.
But on a separate meeting, I'll give you my number. We can talk. But don't have an ignorant response and just put it out there in public. It was rude.
And on top of it, you will provide everything, because I've done it before. I've brought bags of stuff. What do you want? You want a scarf? You want a hat? You want a scarf and a hat? You want this color? You want this print? You want this fabric? We know how to accommodate. If they're designers. They should know how to accommodate.
Exactly. Right. And this was the organizer of the show. It wasn't like this is the organizer. So she's like leading it all. So that was that. Then I was backstage at a fashion show, and the designer, unbeknownst to me, had an issue with my hijab, but chose me to be in her collection. So I'm like, yes, I'm excited. I'm like, want to modify,
Did she not know you had a hijab on? Or did she think you were going to take it off when you got there?
I don't know what this woman was thinking. My headscarf maybe was, I don't know. So it
was invisible to her. It was invisible.
It was the part. It was my hair. It was invisible. I don't know. It was a joke. It was just, I don't know what she thought. That's the question I always ask people. Is like, you see, I have a headscarf on. It's not like I'm just wearing it as a night scarf. So yeah, so we're getting dressed for the show, and she's like wanted me to style my scarf basically in a way where you can't see my scarf. So I'm like, okay, you know what, I'll do a turban style. Like, that's okay. But she's like trying to make it bag so my hair can show and like make it tighter. So it's just like, you know, not really hijab looking anymore.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, I'll compromise. I'll do a hijab style. The outfit had like a high neck jacket. Okay. But she wanted that to be open, wide open neck to show that it was like bolero, kind of off the shoulders vibe. Wow. And I was like, no, that's what I'm not going to do.
Right. No way.
I know I let her do her thing. And when I picked up straight pants off the floor and I had them in my hands. So after I walked away from her with her final so-called look, I penned it up in line, about to walk maybe like 4 or 5 girls in front of me. And I'm freaking out. Like, you know, I'm like, I cannot walk out with my neck out. I already have a turban on, you know? So thankfully I was able to pen it up and yes, so that's on there. Examples. Yes, I penned it up and it was, you know, I made it comfortable for myself. My neck wasn't out. Yeah. But you know, it's a close call. Sometimes you have to be that. You have to be defensive. You have to be able to stand up for yourself.
And I think that's what probably Halima Aiden was talking about before. But because we're a little bit older, maybe if we were 13, 15, 16, 18, we might not have had that voice that we have now, that we can really make sure that people understand this is who we are. This is what we represent. This is how we're going out. We're not going out any other way. And I had the same example. There was a lady who wanted me in her design, but then she gave me this outfit, but then she didn't have anything for the head. And I was trying to figure out, well, what was she planning on doing?
Right.
I realized, and she probably thought that I wasn't going to be, you know, I was just going to go. I said, I need something for my head. Don't you know, she took off her shirt. But that's okay. I was happy because she had like some kind of tank top or whatever it was that she could wear underneath. And then she put it on and wrapped my head in that shirt because it matched whatever it was. It matched. And I was happy because I said the same thing. I was like, the respect, first of all, for us, we are doing the honor of modeling your clothes. We're trying to get out. You chose us. You see what I'm saying? If you chose us, we're going to try to accommodate you as best as possible. But at the same time, we still have to have who we are, our modesty, our hijab, or whatever it is that we're we're putting on to walk on that runway. And you did a phenomenal job because you were like, look, I'm not going out there like that. They're going to sell that outfit anyway. They're going to sell that outfit anyway.
They're going to sell it anyway. And I always tell people that Muslim women, we shop. Our fashion is the way that we express who we are.
Yep.
So you are giving you are giving yourself an opportunity to attract a whole new demographic that may have never even picked up a catalog or never went to your website or your social media page because now you have a Muslim woman in your designs. I am doing you a favor.
That's what I just said. You have the honor of us. We're modeling for you.
Yes, just like you said, we are doing you a favor.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
So
no.
I try to get people to say without sounding like, you know, but I'm just so confident in knowing that it's true that I can say it, you know, because it is, you know that it's true, you know it, that Muslim women, like when we finally see someone who looks like us in an ad or in a design or in a whatever, we are like, we want to support.
And it looks like it's so chic. Really, yes. I'm letting you know. And that goes back to my same same scenario of when you're on the stage with no clothes on, that's not fashion.
It's not fashion.
That's not fashion.
It's not fashion.
You would see somebody walk across naked because they're naked. But then if you see somebody with a long flowing chiffon scarf and a long flowing, caftan, don't you know you're going to look in the colors and you're going to be like, wow, that's beautiful.
Exactly.
That's what you're going to do.
Yes, absolutely. And modest fashion isn't only for Muslim women. It's not exclusive to us.
Nope.
There are women who, for other religious reasons, are modest.
Mormon, Jewish.
Yes.
Jehovah Witnesses.
Jehovah Witnesses. Or I've met women who were not religious at all and just enjoyed dressing modestly.
My sister and I talked about that.
Yes, who shop at vintage stores to get that modest style and modest aesthetic because they can't find it. It's hard for them to find it, in mainstream retail stores and the fashion industry now. So they shop at vintage stores, but they just like the dress modern, just feel more, just feel more feminine, more comfortable in that. So it's just a whole range of reasons why modern fashion.
And that's why I believe it's here to stay. This is not a fad. Yes. This is not a trend. Yes. I mean, yes, it can be trendy. Don't get me wrong. There's two different words, meaning to that word, but it's here to stay. It's here to stay. And as long as we as Muslims are representing that and keeping that, it's going to go to another level. And inshallah, we'll be able to see it and participate in it. Yes. So my next question to you is, what modeling work are you most proud of and why? Ooh, okay. And you have plenty, because, when I read, Ambi Skincare and Moss. Yes. I mean, I could go down the line. I mean, you did a Gap commercial or Gap. Didn't you do something with Gap too?
That was a shoot for my agency. Okay. And it most definitely could have been a Gap or a Guest ad. That's what everyone kept saying. So if you're gonna speak into existence, it will be.
We did.
So honestly, everything. I'm just, every opportunity, I'm so grateful, like for all the reasons that we just said, for all the rejection, all of the not seeing us when we grew up in the industry, for all those reasons, I'm grateful for every opportunity. I was in LA at a fitting for a really big project. And after I left the fitting, I was like in the car, just like crying happy tears. I was just so grateful to be able to have the job, to represent Black Muslim women, and to just be present, so everything, honestly. But the jobs you mentioned definitely are I'm most proud of, Ambi and Peter Moss. Peter Moss was
you keep talking. You keep talking, and I'm going to share maybe some excerpts.
Oh, yes, please.
Okay?
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to let me bear with me, and I'm sorry my listeners cannot see, but bear with me. My viewers can, and I do want to. Okay, here's one.
So Pierre Moss was basically like an Instagram post. And I emailed the casting director, of course, never thinking they're going to see my email. And I hear back, and Khalida, I'm telling you, I was just like, did they mean to email me? Like, is this an accident? Like, are they sure? So alhamdulillah, they were sure. They meant to email me, and I, got casted for that campaign.
That's beautiful.
And the shoot was fun. It all happened so fast. Honestly, I get there, I go in and hair make. I hear. What am I saying?
Yeah, but that's what we know it in the industry as that hair and makeup, because that's what they always say.
Right. I'm just like,
we change it. We change it for hijab and makeup.
Hijab and makeup. Yes.
We still got to get our hijab done.
Yes, gotta get hijab straightened. So I went to makeup, and it was just like, we're just getting ready, and they're freaking out my scarf style, my hijab, and then I just like go on set, and it was like maybe like 15 minutes of shooting, and that image gets created.
It's beautiful. Look at it. It's beautiful. Like, who would not want this as part of their fashion repertoire? I mean, seriously. But so I love that. I think I have one more. And
then
go ahead. Go ahead.
Ambi also was another kind of like Instagram post. My cousin actually told me about the contest, and I had maybe like 2, maybe 3 days to submit. I was like, okay. I had to do a whole video for it, and it was like Eid. I forget if it was Eid al-Fitr or Eid al-Adha, but it was an Eid. So I'm like going to Philly. I'm like trying to figure out what I want to do. I'm like getting dressed. It was Eid morning before prayer, and I'm doing a video for the submission really quickly. My family's like, so now let's go. Yes. We're going outside. It was COVID. We was going to the driveway, but we still had a schedule. And I did the video, and it was a contest. Ambi was a contest. So it was like maybe like 1,000 of entries, and they looked at all of our entries again, which I thought they weren't going to look at them. They looked at all of our entries, and it was down to maybe like 100, and it was 25, and it was the top 10, it was top 3, and I won. It was like this whole experience. Yeah, so it's been a whole year of Ambi experience, Ambi traveling, Ambi photo shoots, video shoots, Ambi products. Being an ambassador for them. There's still a lot of content that's going to be put out for them that they haven't put out yet. So more to come for that. But again, grateful.
And it's so funny when I saw that and it said Rite Aid, and I got, because you and I we know each other, so we text each other and stuff. And it's so funny when I saw that. Don't you know? I took my little son, and we don't have Rite Aid over here, but we went to CVS. And I kept looking up and down the aisle, and this lady had to come to me and ask, are you okay? Do you need some help? I said, yeah, I'm looking for Ambi, because my friend is a poster for Ambi products. She says, oh, we have a couple things, but we used to have more Ambi, but that's at the other, pharmacy. I was like, dang, I came to here thinking I'm going to get, but I saw some picture. Where was I? It wasn't here. That's why I was not here in Maryland. I was someplace else. I was like, that's my friend. I was like, that's my friend. I was so happy. I was so happy that it just, you see representations of, even if I didn't know you, and I would see this hijabi lady up there in a pharmacy or in a makeup counter where you normally don't see us. That's such a great feeling. It's so overwhelming. Like you're like, wow, 20 years ago, I really wanted to do this so badly like you. And now all of a sudden we're being represented slowly.
I know.
Coming out there.
I know. If that's the thing, it's like we would have never seen that, like we said, 20 years ago. I feel like even maybe 10 years ago.
No.
And the thing, it's like there was modest fashion happening. Mainstream, I would say, of course, it was always happening in our communities back home, but mainstream, there was a time where there was a certain demographic of Muslim that you would see.
Yep.
I don't want to get too much into that, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it has been happening, but our demographics, how we look, our brown skin has just really been entered and been recognized. Not that we need the recognition, but that has just been recognized mainstream in American fashion. So that is definitely a huge, a huge step for the industry to go in, and it opens up opportunities for Muslim women to work, to be represented and to showcase their talent.
It's so funny because I was at a casting call, a model call, and when you look in there, it's about 200 people, and you look, and it has to be about 30, 40 blondes, blonde models, and I'm sure about 25 of them are going to be chosen. And there were only two of us Muslims there, right? So you wonder, you're like, okay, even if there were 5 of us or 10 of us, why can't, unless they don't have a good walk or they're not, but why can't all of us be chosen as well? Why do we always seem like we have to be competing? Yeah. Why do we always have to be competing? Let's get into that. But I do want to ask the one question, because you talked about Ambi and traveling. I did want to know, do you get lonely or feel lonely when you're on a job? There's no family. And I don't know about you, but when I'm doing it, I'm by myself, I'm pulling, I'm lugging. I got to get myself onto the plane. I got to go here. I have no entourage. How do you feel when you have nobody there? You're all alone, but you're doing your job. This is work. Do you feel lonely? How do you deal with that?
Yeah, absolutely. There's going to be a sense of loneliness doing everything by yourself. You're traveling like that. I have gotten used to being by myself, being alone, like in those type of environments. So I definitely can appreciate just being in my room and just hanging out in my room. Or if I need to go explore, maybe do a walk or go to the park. So I've gotten accustomed to that lifestyle. But yeah, absolutely. It's definitely, I enjoy being by myself, but it's nothing like being able to have someone with you to enjoy the opportunity that you have at hand. But then
likely, go ahead.
I was
gonna say, more than likely, you're the only hijabi there anyway.
Exactly. Always. That's usually all, like you said, it's like that token hijabi. They get their one hijabi, and then maybe 2, highly unlikely, and then that one person, that's it. They check the mark off of diversity, But yeah, it definitely is this sense of loneliness, but it really, I wouldn't say it's the loneliness in a sad way. It's just loneliness like, I wish I just can enjoy this with someone. But it also is like, I'm grateful for being here. I'm grateful to be paid to work, being paid, my travel is being paid for, my accommodations are all being covered. Like, it's just, I'm being grateful, for that. But yeah, to answer your question, definitely, being by yourself a lot of the times while traveling, it definitely is a sense of loneliness there for sure.
So let's go back to what we were going to talk about. We said we'll get back to that. Did we forget? because we said we were going to get back to it, and I didn't even write it down. We were
talking about Muslim women competing against each other.
That's it. That's right. I was going to say, because I was going to say there was a biggest accomplishment, but being put against each other. That's what I was going to say. Yes. And I want to say it's always been that way, because even with just African or Black models, because I want to say Tyra Banks and Naomi Campbell had the same issue. Mm-hmm. You know, somebody's whispering in her ear and saying, no, you got to be better than Naomi. Somebody's whispering in her ear saying, you got to be better than Tyra. Why can't, there were only two of them really at the time. Well, two that they wanted on the stage. So why does it always seem like there is always a competition with us? You know what I'm saying? Not with you and me. You're on one side. But
absolutely.
Because I noticed.
I don't, you know, I think it's a really deeper conversations to have. I think that Black women have always been put up to compete against each other, and that we have to choose one over the other. For example, I don't know if you recently saw 50 Cent's comment on social media about Taraji P. Henson and the mom on his new Power show. Mm-hmm. He did a comparison of Taraji P. Henson's character Cookie on Empire, and I forget the actress's name on Power Book 3, and compared them together, like comparing their characters to how they both were phenomenal women, but one role did better than the other. Just kind of compare them for no absolute reason whatsoever. It was unnecessary. No one brought them up. No one was comparing them. No. And people were just saying, like, why do we always have to pit Black women in the ring with each other? We always put them in a boxing ring and competing against each other. Like, why can't they just both be great Black actresses in their own right? You know, so
and both shine.
Shine. And the actress from Power Book 3, she actually commented and said something to what we're saying. Like, we both are great. Like, she did great in her role. I'm doing great in mine. We're both grateful for the opportunities. Like, we're both just appreciating each other. Like, why does it have to be one over the other, one better than the other? Right. So I'm saying that to say that even from our own communities, even from whomever, we're always put up against each other. And the why, you know, I don't know. I really don't know the why. But it happens all the time.
I think we're going to have to, once we mature, because I know it's a little more catty probably for the younger crowd, really young. Like you've seen on Instagram and TikTok and all of the social media pages where you have these young, you know, pups, I want to call them, you know, really young girls that are fresh out, and they really have no modeling etiquette, and they really have no modeling experience, but they're always competing. They're always feeling like they got to compete with somebody else. But I feel like the older we get and the more we're in the industry, you will see it's not, and this is what I always say, it's not about us. Yes, it is about us, but it's about, if you're a good model, they're going to want to work with you. If you are a stank model and have an attitude, they're not going to want to work with you. So therefore, you're going to get less opportunity trying to be all, you know, I'm it, and being in front of somebody's face all the time. You're not gonna get work. You're definitely not. I feel that sometimes they just have to learn a little more, and also there's room for everybody. There's room for everybody. How many restaurants do we have? How many fried chicken places do we have? How many Jean places, you know?
Soul food spots, breakfast spots, brunch spots.
You see what I'm saying?
Sneaker stores.
Sneaker stores, that's right. Retail.
Retail stores, you know, all type of body shops, mechanics, you know.
Makeup.
No, and every day jewelry. So people are opening up the businesses in these same saturated markets are successful. So it really is disheartening when we are constantly put up against each other. And like you said, the younger pups, the younger you know, ladies, generation, was it Gen Z or whatever?
Gen Z, yeah.
They are definitely you know, targeted, because they aren't, like you said, mature or aware of what's really happening yet to not fall into that trap of the competition. You have like internet trolls who are commenting on TikTok and arguing in comments, you know, and it's just like, for what?
There's room for everybody.
We're so much stronger if we work together. And you know what, Colin, maybe that's the answer. Maybe, you know, the media, society sees our strength, sees our Black girl magic, and knows that if we are united, that it will be a power
powerful
that you cannot reckon with. And maybe that's
power.
That's the reason, you know? Yes,
yeah,
yes.
You're absolutely
right. So maybe that's what it is. They don't want us to unite. And again, it's more historical for me. Like,
yes,
the answer, like, it goes way back. And you know, not I think I know that this has been happening to Black people for centuries.
Yes, I was gonna say generations. That's right.
You know, generations. That's and right. it trickles down into these very microscopic communities and industries, and it just continues to happen.
You're
so
right.
Yeah.
So here's a question: what is the most asked question to you as a modest Muslim model?
People honestly have asked me, am I Muslim?
I would have never thought you said that.
No, people honestly have asked, or they ask, was I born Muslim?
Oh.
They ask, where am I from?
Yeah.
I guess in this day and time, people don't associate Blackness with Islam, with being Muslim.
Right.
And I, you know, the first response would be, are you Muslim? People ask that question. I'm like, my mind is like blown.
Yeah.
It's mind blown to say, am I Muslim? I have a scarf on.
Right.
But yeah, people ask those questions, and again, it goes back. It's the historical response. Like, Islam literally you know, came here through the transatlantic slavery. You know, that's how it came. It came here through Black people, through Africans. Like, yes, we, like, Islam's only here because of us. Right. People say that they didn't know about Black Muslims and the whole history behind it. I'm just like, how?
And even if they don't go that far, I mean, just to give some props to the Nation of Islam, they started.
Absolutely. I was going to say that next.
Yep.
I want to say that next. Yes, because my father came into Islam through the Nation, and then my parents met through the Nation in New York. So yes, that was also in most recent time, you know, in the last, you know, 40, 30, 40 years.
Yeah. Maybe a little longer, maybe 30, 40 years.
40, 50 years.
Yeah.
My parents were married for, what, 48 years?
Yeah, so probably longer than
like
that.
40, 50, yeah. 50 years. But yes, absolutely. The Nation of Islam definitely, you know, was a huge part of connecting and organizing Black people. It may not, you know, have always been focused strictly on the Sunnah, on it, you know, on Islam, those, you know, but the organization that it gave, and the path and purpose that it gave Black Muslim, Black people, and especially Black men. Like, my father talks about it all the time. Like, he's like, I don't know what path I would have been on, you know, if I didn't fall into the hands of the Nation. I definitely wouldn't have met your mother. Like, you would have had a whole, you know, different life. Right. So,
have any of the people you worked with, designers and stuff, have any of them asked you, do you have to wear that on your head as a modest Muslim model?
Yeah. Yes. And they, I think from my experience, they have asked, maybe just out of not knowing, like, trying to understand what my boundaries are. Like, can I wear a hat in place of a scarf? Can, you know,
do you have to wear that specific one? Sometimes I was asked, do you have to wear that specific one? Maybe they have another vision. Right. Another vision.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. Can I, you know, question is asked, if I can wear hats in place of it? Can I wear colors? Can I wear prints?
Yes, the color question.
Yes, all of those things. And that's why I try my best in my personal style when I'm not working to wear colors. As you see, my color, my print, and my scarf nails. I want people to know that there is no limitations to, like, colors with Muslim. That is a very old misconception. It's untrue. So, you know, let's speak on it. Like, so I try to, you know, explain to people, like, I can do colors. I don't like you to have to use herb and your jewelry on your headscarf. scarf. I don't mind doing hats over my scarf.
Right.
I'm open. And I always tell people, like, I embrace that uniqueness, and people are like, oh, well, great. And then, like you said, whatever vision they had, they're trying to rework it to include what works best and comfortable for me.
No, that's true. That's so true. So with that, who is your favorite designer?
My favorite designer. And why?
Yes.
So it used to be Diane von Furstenberg, because she just understands the woman, the silhouette, and just she's iconic for revolutionizing the red dress. And I think she's just a very classy lady. She's a very classy lady, you know.
She sure is.
But in recent time, I have come to know a designer called Ambi Skin.
Okay.
And she actually, maybe she was on the scene for a while, but she has a whole unique story. She was in prison overseas, and she was a designer, and it was a whole thing. But in the last, I would say 2 years, she's been able to start her brand again, and she actually is a Black Muslim woman.
Okay, because I was going to ask you, but then I said, well, should I ask or not? Okay,
yeah,
girl, you gotta connect me. You gotta connect me.
I will text you her information.
Yeah, maybe I can have her on the podcast.
And yes, and her designs are like modest fashion, pop culture, just color. I mean, I just love it. I
see you glowing. I see you glowing as you're talking about her. That's perfect.
She now has a store in the Beverly Center in Los Angeles.
Woo!
And she does modest fashion. She doesn't necessarily do have hijabs.
Okay.
But all of her clothing are all modest. And yeah, it's just fun. Her story is like an interesting story, but her designs are beautiful. They're fun. They're creative. And nice. So she's and we kind of talk on social media a little bit, so I comment on her stuff, and she replies. So I'm like, we're kind of like friends. I guess we're really not. I'm making it up. But
no, at least you have a connection. What are you talking about?
Yeah, so
I said that one time before too. I'm like, no, we're friends. You know, you just met them, and maybe you took a picture with them, and that was it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. She noticed me like a few times on social media.
Right.
But yeah, she's great. So I'll send her information after.
Yeah, that's gonna be nice. I would love that because like I said, there's not there. First of all, I am going to literally make a list. I'm going to literally make a list because we also touched on this. Other I guess I had. We also touched on having a list ready because you just named about 2 or 3 Black fashion designers or vendors right now who are in the fashion industry that I didn't know were even Black, and I feel like I can add them to my list. I can add them to people when I'm ready. Oh, you're having a so-and-so a fashion show. You're doing a podcast for something. Here's the list. We already have a list made.
So many people.
And I don't know this, and a lot of us don't know this.
Yeah, well, Diane von Furstenberg isn't.
She's not.
Black.
No, I know.
Yeah. But yeah, Ambi's out. I mean,
and Remy,
yes,
right?
Yes,
see, I didn't know that either.
Yes, I mean, like you said, the list can go on. There's so many people. I don't know if you've heard about the hijab collection, Honey collection. I think they have a space in Nordstrom. They sell hijabs.
Get out of here.
They sell hijabs. They sell hijabs in Nordstrom. No. I just saw maybe a week and a half ago, they had their launch. I believe it was in Michigan, so I don't know if they have it at every Nordstrom location. I believe you can definitely find it online.
Okay.
But again, I'll send you the information online.
And they're also Black. They're
I believe.
Now,
African, but yes.
Now that puts them above everybody else because I have no other place besides who I'm talking about, different places that I can get hijabs from. Now I rather support. I'm going to support.
Okay, not to only have a modest brand in a major retail store, but to specifically sell hijabs.
I know.
To specifically sell hijabs.
Now I'm glad you told this.
Nordstrom and buy a hijab and leave with a hijab from Nordstrom. I remember when we couldn't even find tunics.
No, you couldn't.
We couldn't even find. We were taking sleeveless dresses and making them tunics.
I know.
Like to walk. I mean, the excitement that I had when I saw that.
Right.
I was like, wow, this is huge.
That's wonderful, and I'm glad you are mentioning it to us and allowing us to know, all the listeners and all the viewers, because we have to go out and support. We have to. And all
even
the
if you
ones
can't
that
buy it, just at least share it.
share
at least
it
on social media. Obviously support it and buy, but
but at the same time, as long as the quality is good, save your money. Because we talked about this before, she and I. Save your money and buy that one, maybe a black scarf or one colorful scarf that you really like. That might be $30 or $40. That will last you for how many years?
Yes.
To come.
And you know why we need to? Because if we don't, the spaces like this will not be available for us if we don't support it. I'll say this is why we don't support you, you Muslims, you know.
That's why nobody comes in here and buys.
Yes. So we even if it may be out of budget, maybe a color we may not necessarily wear, we rather chiffon versus jersey,
cotton or something, right? Yeah,
let's buy it.
Yeah.
So we can keep and honor that space that they have earned and support them. Yes, it's so important.
And that's through all of the creatives, all of us, because we're not supporting each other. It goes back to, you know, people trying to, I'm getting mine and then I'm out. You know, you can't do that. You can't do
single mindset. Yeah, whatever it is, if it's her brand or if it's a skincare brand, if it's someone that has consultation for, I don't know, a lawyer, whatever the industry is. If you see a Black Muslim woman in this space, just support it. Like donate, support, share, shout out.
Yep, everything,
like, comment,
all of the above. Yes, you're absolutely right. We don't always have to, you know, purchase, or we don't always have to go there, but there's so many people. Like I said, I want to make this list because I don't even have a list. And when people come to me and ask me, I'm gonna be like, scroll. Okay, here you go. Here it is.
The white page is for Black people. Right. Black pages.
Hey, we're gonna have the Black pages. Absolutely. I'm on that one, inshallah. I do have two more questions, and the first question is, what advice can you leave our listeners and viewers with being a modest Muslim model in this fashion industry? You can even leave some tips on modeling for beginners, maybe where they should start, or just something as a modest Muslim model in this industry. What advice can we leave our listeners and viewers with?
Yeah, I'm going to keep it simple. I mean, it's probably life advice, but know your purpose, know your why behind your modeling, pursuing modeling.
And I want you to touch on that, because I know why you did it. You want to help the young Black teenagers. So finish that and then elaborate on that one.
Because you will be tried, as we said, you will be tried. People will definitely be in your face, that, you know, a little side eye. So know your purpose. I get messages on Instagram all the time from models all over the world who say they want to be a model, they admire me, and I'm grateful. You know, it means a lot. That's part of why I'm doing what I do. But you have to put the work in. So to segue from that, you say you're a model. I go to their person's page just out of curiosity if I have time. Their page is private. Their profile picture is not recognizable as a model. If their page isn't private, there are no professional pictures of them on their page to showcase they're trying to model. So, you know, you say you're something, but you have nothing to show that you're this thing. So that's the first thing advice I give to them, I give to anyone, is if you want to say you want to model, start doing a photo shoot. You know, if you can't find a professional photographer, if you can't afford one, use a phone. There are iPhones, all the smartphones, Android phones. Find a friend. Like I know you use your son. You know?
Yes, I sure do. Absolutely.
You develop them into a craft that they may not know they even had.
And now he does. He wants to be a photographer. He sure does.
He's great.
Mashallah. Thank you.
Mashallah. Use your resources you have. Use your friends, your nieces, your parent. My mom has done photos for me, maybe a little bit crooked, a little blurry, you know, but she did it. She tried, you know. So just try. Just show the effort. But yeah, so that's my advice behind getting into the industry. And also my advice on how you get started. Just start. Just start.
Jump in.
And my why is, as you said, is I love modeling. It's fun to take pictures. It's fun to travel. But I really want to make a difference. I want, you know, girls to look at ads, to look at major brands and see themselves in me, see themselves in these ads, and see themselves in fashion.
Because we didn't.
Because we didn't, and you know, we really didn't. And you know, I don't know, cheesy as it may sound, it's like, it really is a huge deal to see yourself in the world, to see yourself on commercials, on ads. You build this confidence. I was a very, very shy child. I know you're probably like, what, Saniyyah? But I was petrified of speaking when I was younger. And who's to say if I saw more of us on,
you wouldn't have been that way.
on TV shows, on, you know, ads or fashion or whatever.
Magazines.
Yeah, I'm not shy to say that, you know, to wear my scarf. I'm not shy to be bold about being Muslim. Now I, you know, like, I'm unbothered. But as a child, you get to grow, you know, into
had the same experience. Absolutely.
Yes, you know,
didn't want to wear your scarf, didn't want to wear a dress because it had to be longer than everybody else's, and the skirts, and that plays a huge part on you as a person and a child growing up. It sure does.
It does. It really does. And kids, you know, kids aren't always nice. You know, they aren't. You know, so
we know that firsthand. And still in this industry, same thing. As old as we are, they're still not nice.
Yes, kids aren't always nice. So, you know, I hope that, you know, in us continue to do what we're doing, that, you know, I'm able to inspire someone, you know, to make a difference, to mentor. It means a lot. You know, I'm not a very political person. I'm not going to go to like a rally or a protest. Right. But this is
your way. But this
is my platform. Modeling is my platform. So that, you know, is really my why. And it's in, you know, my background, for my family, my parents, we come from a very volunteerism family. We're always kids in my house. My parents, like, my mom is the mother to everyone in our community. You know, my father, everyone knows my father because he's always cracking jokes and just being crazy. Brother Bilal, you know? Right. So I grew up around that community, and modeling is my way to, like, just continue to push that.
And that's wonderful. And I'm glad, because it's not, everybody has their own skill set. Everyone has their own, like you said, their why and their ability to do certain things. I'm not a cook. I'm not a makeup artist. I'm not a public speaker. We model. That's what we do. And for people to try to discredit it or try to, you know, it means a lot. They don't know the other side. They don't know they don't know the walk that we walk. You know, they weren't little girls. They weren't 7-year-olds. They weren't 10-year-olds. They weren't 14-year-olds who never saw any of that, you know, and felt like, I mean, it took a long time for me to wear my hijab. I mean, it was not comfortable. Now I can't see myself without it, and be very vocal when you're out there in this industry. No, I will not wear this on stage without my so-and-so covered, or without my, you know, hijab, or without another garment underneath, because this is sheer, you know. We have that voice, and you build that confidence in these young girls now, so that when they do get older, there's a little girl on, I think her name is Zaira. She's a little African-American girl on Instagram. I love what she does. Maybe I'll send you her thing.
Yeah, I'll share it.
Yeah, and no matter of fact, it's so funny. I might even try to get her on. She might even agree.
Oh, cute. Yeah.
Because she's young. He has to be like maybe 12, between 11 and 13. I don't know how old she is, but she's doing her thing. And I would love to know her why, you know, because I'm sure she probably, you know, same thing. She's at that age where the girls especially, they're not nice, boys either. You know, they have to come through and represent themselves somehow, and she's doing it.
I love seeing it. I do think in this day and time of social media being so prevalent, that we are seeing youth be more vocal about who they are, be more confident. Like you said, at very young ages, 11, 12, 13, they even have businesses that have gone viral. You know, so I love that. That's something, again, that, you know, we didn't see. Maybe it was happening, you know, it's someplace, somewhere at that age, when we were that age, but we didn't see it. We didn't see it. You know, it wasn't in my community, in my inner circle of people.
It wasn't on the billboards. It wasn't on the magazine. It wasn't on the TVs. And those were the main social media things that we were getting.
You know what? I can say I know definitely what's happening. I know like there were so many Black designers who were doing Muslim fashion, modest fashion. This wasn't being noticed. So I know what was happening, that social media now is making it more of a forefront. But yeah, I love seeing the kids. It really is so beautiful to see them have their like, just to know who they are so young. You know, I feel like I'm still finding out who I am, what I want, and what I want. You know what I mean? So to be like, to be a tween and a teenager and just be like on social media and viral and saying this and being smart and having conversations and, you know, with adults, it's very rewarding. I love seeing it.
We're teaching, but we're also learning.
Yes.
Because we're teaching them how to be confident, but we're also learning, like, wow, like you said, these young kids are out doing them and being themselves and making a statement, you know, at that age, where we at that age probably would not have. Maybe some of us, yes, but
I wouldn't have. I was too shy. I'm telling you.
I don't think I would have. Not that I was shy. I probably wouldn't have, because I would have been out of place. And that was the whole thing about being a model at the time. I would have been out of place, and I don't like to be out of place. I don't want to look different or be different than anybody else.
Absolutely. And that's, I think any teenager can feel that way. You know, you don't want to be that different person. But I was just terribly shy. But also I look at them also to know like what's cool, like what are, you know, what's this like?
We're learning.
That's so funny. I feel like just so, you know, old saying that.
We can pull it off.
I don't know these things. Like my niece says stuff to me, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I don't know. They're gonna play it off. Like I'm still young, but it's definitely a twofold.
Absolutely. So to close out, how can our viewers and listeners follow you? What are your social media handles, if you would like to share them? Anybody who may see this on YouTube or listen to it on one of the streams, the podcast streams, and want to pick you up as well and do some type of campaign for their company or something, how can we follow you, and where can we get in touch with you on social media?
Love that. I'm a hijabi model. HIJABI, the word model, hijabi model, all one word. On Instagram, on TikTok, and Facebook is my name, Saniyyah Bilal.
Okay.
But if you go to my Instagram, I'm always on Instagram. So you can connect with my website from there. I try to stay communicative with people on Instagram. So Instagram is hijabi model. And yeah, you'll find things all fashion model related on there about me and my journey. And I hope you like it.
Absolutely. You want to add anything else? You want to have any other questions or any statement? You want to say anything else?
This was really, really great. We dug into a lot of, the positives, the realities of the industry, what we have faced. And I'm just grateful for the platform. I hope that someone gained something from this. And like I said, if you want to know more, if you have any more questions, always social media, I'm always around on Instagram. So
thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much, Saniyyah, for joining us. Thank you, listeners. Thank you, viewers. I really appreciate you tuning in today. And my last words, which I'd like to say as well, be fashionable, be trendy, but be modest.
Yeah.
Love you.
Love you too. Thank you so much, everyone.
So
appreciate it. Appreciate you.
Alhamdulillah. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.